Good afternoon, and welcome to Afternoon Wastewater Delight. I'm your host, Sam, and today we've got a great show for you about microbial fuel cells.
We sure do, Sam. I'd be shocked if we didn't learn something new today. Here with us from the University of Maryland are Luke and Kevin. They work in the Environmental Engineering Lab with rising star Maya Tattenclaw.
Hello. Hi guys.
So, what will you be showing us today?
Today, actually Amanda, we're going to be making some benthic microbial fuel cells. They're going to have different cathodes and different water mixtures, but we'll get to that in a little.
Oh, interesting. Could you tell us more about these anodes and cathodes?
Well, Amanda, these electrodes will generate a current due to a voltage potential difference between the negatively charged anode and the positively charged cathode, as Luke will demonstrate here.
We have our anode, and we have our cathode.
The anode is a graphite disc buried in anaerobic sediment and is negatively charged because of the reduction of the organic material by the electrically active bacteria present in the sediments. The released electrons are accepted by the anode and are then carried to the cathode, producing a flow of electrons.
Using electric wires.
So how much power are we talking about?
Well, we have our assistant Sam in the studio today, and she's going to demonstrate our polarization curve and what we expect to see.
Great, let's switch it over to Sam.
Why, thank you, Amanda. So what we've got here is a graph depicting both a polarization curve and a power curve for our wastewater microbial fuel cells. The polarization curves, in red and blue, show how voltage and current change when the resistance used in the circuit is continually decreased. The power curves, here in orange and purple, show the change in power output that we get for different currents. Now, we want to maximize the power output from our fuel cells. So we're going to locate the peak in the power curve, and in the orange curve, that's around 140 milliwatts per meter squared. You can see that on the right-hand side y-axis. And then we're going to come in on the x-axis and determine the corresponding current that occurs at that power maximum. Finally, we're going to take that current value that we get and we're going to plug it back into our polarization curve, that inverse relationship on the left y-axis, to determine the voltage potential that our microbial fuel cells need to attain.
Well, with all that information, let's build some fuel cells.
Let's get down to business. Huh.
Let's get down to business.
Alright, so, first things first, let's take a list of what we need to make these fuel cells.
Basically, anaerobic sediment, water, instant ocean mix, and anode and cathode materials.
Okay,
We're going to want 1 liter of the really stinky sediment.
well, yeah, as you can see, it's got mold and fuzzy stuff along the top.
Can we get a close-up?
Dirty deeds, done the cheap. Dirty deeds and the done the cheap. Oh. Dirty deeds and the done the cheap.
So, so now, Luke will be adding instant ocean. How much instant ocean are we putting in now, Luke?
And probably around 75 milliliters. Bam!
And
Great.
so, now we will continue building this fuel cell.
First, to construct the anode, take a graphite disc and secure the exposed part of a wire to it with the plastic nut and bolt. Now, let's construct our carbon fiber cathode.
We're just going to call it a dead bird from now on.
Looks very much like a dead bird.
Yes, I agree.
It's a great nickname.
Yes, it's very apt. Very, very, very apt.
Bundle the carbon fiber cathode together with a wire. Attach a second wire to the first to establish a connection between the cathode and a resistor box.
Alright, so now we're going to connect the anode and the cathode here to the resistor box.
So what you want to do is make sure that they're solidly put in place so the contact can melt by these holders, as you see here. Just scroll that down so it's nice and snug. There we are.
Now, we're going to take this resistor box, take these 2 wires, and connect it to another module that will record our data on the computer for weeks at a time. So, with our prepared sample right here with the sediment and the instant ocean, we're going to dig this anode into the mud so that there's more organic material for it to react, creating current. This dead bird, or cathode, will be submerged into the water.
This will expose it to the surrounding dissolved oxygen necessary for the reduction reaction. Now that our fuel cells have been constructed, hook up the resistor boxes to a voltmeter, which will record the voltage potential across the electrodes. Continue recording the change in voltage as the resistance in the cell is decreased from open circuit to 50 ohms. We can generate our polarization and power curves from this data. Pictured here is a second type of floating cathode that we used. These cathodes, coated with a manganese oxide catalyst, performed far superior to the carbon fiber cathodes previously mentioned.